Hello, this is Vance, and this is Tuesday, January the 17th, 2017. These are CL trades for today using the slow hand method for price action. Well, overnight, we had a pretty strong movement in the overnight as far as trade. I mean, it was a low. We had a low of 52.24 overnight, and we had a high of just above 53.30, I think it was. No, exactly 53.24, 53. So it's 80 ticks. But really, what happened is that right in just after about 4:30 or so, we had a pretty strong move up. I was looking at this was you can see that this was a kind of a range from yesterday, Monday evening, because Monday was the holiday, and New York closed early, and so that was the Martin Luther King Day. And that was yesterday. And so when price opened last night at 6 o'clock, price traded down, traded up, and then made quite a bit of a range, then moved up in the overnight, pulled back. And our opening right here was right here at 9 o'clock. So what I was looking at is that where was really the first trade. So let me just get this a little bit bigger. There you go. If you look at the perspective of this was the overnight high, price traded down. So you had really a measured move down here. Price moved down here, pulled back, moved down again. So it was a measured move. And so price made this low, had this higher low at 52.85, pulls back. Then we drop into this range. And this range is a pretty narrow range, just in the pre-market, and it was about, I think it was about 20 ticks. Let me just get my little 15-tick box here. Yeah, about 20 ticks. So if you look at it, price turned over, came down. This is kind of a measured move, pulled back, double topped up here, pulls back again, kind of bounces along this area, pulls up, pulls back, and this is really right near the open. This is 9 o'clock right here. Price pulled down right at the open and then kind of sprung out of here. Now, why did I mark this as a trade? I marked this as a trade because we had a bit of a pullback. This is the first move up. We have first pullback and then another pullback to a new low. And so that's not a bad idea to get a trade. Now, I marked it in blue. It should probably be in green. The point is that if you get in low enough, there's enough room to get to the other side. And it did make it and then failed here. Now, you take this trade here. Like, remember, this is a double bottom. This is right at the open. Price pulls back down. This is a double bottom on a lower time frame. We have support right across here. What appears to be support right in this area, right here. You see double bottom, double bottom, double bottom. Even this, so prices, this little area right along here is pretty tight as far as support is concerned, and even along this area. Now, this is a little bit lower, but if you put your stop in low enough, you can get underneath these bars, or at least underneath this one. So anyways, I marked it in green. Pulls up, pulls back, and another place to go long right here. Now, this is a little bit more difficult. I mean, you want to have your stop below this area, so you'd have to limit in on this trade. And so I marked it in green. Are we expecting another move up? Well, it's right at the open. It probably is going to go a little higher because if you look at it from the perspective of we've already had this first move up this area, we had the pullback, and you're going to get probably a move if it's just a continuation pattern. Price is going to move up, and it does get that, but again, it's in the green, and I don't know if that's really the case. When price get to this at the daily high, and this is just the overnight high at 53.52, it hits resistance, and you can see that the price at this point, it starts bouncing along the top here. We start having this, it can't get up any higher. And of course, if it can't go any higher, it's got to go lower. Now, I marked this as a trade right here. Okay. You can consider this is a second entry. This might be looking to be a second entry long right on this bar here. But the point is that if you were to limit in on this, your stop is okay. It's not a bad entry because you do get rejection. You really don't have whether, you probably want to be a little bit higher than this or maybe limited up here somewhere in that neighborhood. But where's your target? Well, if your target is going to turn out to be these double tops right here, there's not enough room to get out. If the target is down here, if you determine the target is down in these areas where the previous support was, then it's all right to kind of go with this trade. I marked it in this fuchsia color just to say that whether to take it or not, I didn't take it. But I mean, the point is that you could have, I suppose. I mean, it's really dicey. It's a little bit on the risky side. Price moves it that way down there. It really tests this bottom, pulls back, And we have this is a second entry short right on this one, but it's not a great bar. And the reason I would even consider taking this trade is that look at these bars, look at the down bars in this. You're looking at these 800 ticks, there's lots of buying pressure here. And you look at the recoveries are these little tiny little dojis and these small body DARs. I mean, it is pulling back, but the down movement looks a little bit more dramatic than the up movement. So we have these large, more bearish bars in this line, then you've got these little ones pulling back. And the trend is down. You've got lower highs and lower lows through this area, at least initially. So that's why I marked this trade. Now, yes, it's near the bottom of this channel. I mean, even if you, depends where you get in, your stop has to be above, where the previous support was. You might even want to limit it in and get up as high as possible and still get in the trade, especially if you get this little rejection tail here. That was probably the way to go on this. And the fact of the matter is that it's not quite at the bottom. You like to have your target right here, but with this momentum, you're probably it may fail. I didn't say it's going to fail. It may fail, especially with a strong bar like this. And it did work, but it didn't only kind of really bounced at where this previous higher low was, on this bottom to the left side of the chart. Now, I marked these little things in here. And the reason I marked these little things, this area, I wanted to show something. This is really the magnitude of the move and the time it takes for the price to get down here. So in this case, from this bar right here to this bar right here, in this particular move, let me just move this out of the way here. So from here down to this bar right here, before it bounces, it's going to be a little lower. It was 8 bars. These are 8 bars in total. It took 9 minutes and 40 seconds, and it was 41 ticks from here to this area. The pullback from this area to this area right here, and let's just kind of go from that perspective, I should move this over here. So this took 9 minutes and 40 seconds. This area here took 17 minutes and 35 seconds. Okay, so 9 minutes, 17 minutes. So despite the fact that price is moving up, it's taking a lot longer. And these are larger bars, but it's not moving up really quickly. Here, price turns around. You got you got these bars. Let me get rid of this. You got these bars here. It turns around, heads back in this direction. And what do we have? How long did it take? It moves 34 ticks, and it takes 7 minutes. So this area to move up not quite as much time takes 17 minutes, takes 7 minutes here. And this pulls back and runs down here. This is 3 minutes. So this entire magnitude of move took 10 minutes. Okay. Now, why is that important? It's important to know, where is the pressure? For instance, what's the context? More sellers than buyers? I mean, there are some buyers stepping into the market, but it seems like the interest is more down than up at this juncture. Okay, at this point. Now, when price gets down to this area, and these a couple of trades here. So, I mean, this is a second entry short right here. I marked it in red. I mean, you kind of like this trade because it's off the EMA and so forth, and the general trend is down. This one, if you were to get in, it gives you room to get to the bottom again, and you can see that there was hesitation here. It pulls back, and price moved down further. Now, when price gets down to this level right here, when it gets down to, I guess about, let's say 52.70, it starts pulling back, it starts rotating around this area. And this is important because this area of rotation started roughly about 10:30, and to here, it was about 12:30. It took 2 hours. 2 hours of this rotation here down to the bottom of this channel, and it was only barely 15 ticks. That's what it was, okay? Now, after that 2 hour period, there's a couple of trades here. This is a second entry long right here. You could have taken it if you're down now. I marked this. It's not within the channel. And yes, it's at the bottom of the range. We had a double top here and then basically a triple top. We've got the double bottom here. So that's why I marked this trade. It goes up. It tests the other side almost again. Like you pull this down. Comes back down here. And so you could get in on this bar as well. Like this one right here. Again, you have to limit in. You have to be really down to the bottom of this channel to give yourself enough room to get to the other side. And it does work out. After that, not really, because this is really taking a long time. In fact, this time here it's 10:30. By the time it gets to this area, it's 11:30. This is 1 hour, and we're looking at maybe a magnitude of 23, 24 ticks. This magnitude here was 33 ticks, and it took 3 minutes. So you know that there's buyers and sellers are really kind of duking it out in this area. Okay. Now remember, the overall bias was down up until this point in time. Price finally finds purchase and moves up here, and this is kind of interesting because this period right here, this magnitude of move takes really just 10 minutes for trades to move about this whole area that it was just kind of turning over. And so what's going to happen when it gets to this top? You can see it starts turning over again. So we have a double bottom. It comes back to the top. So think about it in this terms. Price shoots down here very quickly in a very short period of time. It starts rotating over for 2 hours in a 15-tick range, bumps up here in a very short time. In fact, it was only a few minutes that it moved up to this area. Turns over again because between here and this area, it was another, I can't remember it was an extended period of time. In fact, this is 1 o'clock right here. By the time it actually moves, this is 2:15. 1 o'clock, 2:15, an hour and 15 minutes. And again, we're stuck in this 15-tick range up here. Now, if you're stuck in a 15-tick range for an hour, let's say, or half an hour, when price, and it's turned over a couple of times. Here it moves down. You can see these little bars. It's kind of side by side sort of thing, overlap in this area. At some point in time, either price is going to break higher or it's going to break lower. And if you're in a 15-tick range and you have this, where would you buy? Where would you sell? Well, if I was looking at prices to be short, I would sell near the top. If I was looking at prices to go up further, I would buy near the bottom. Now, let's say if you were to buy, if you think this is an up right here, why would I think this is down as opposed to this being up? Well, it is a second entry long, but by the time it closes, look where we are. The other thing is that where's the bottom of this? Then as time goes on, it's becoming more and more less likely the price is going to move up. At the very least, it might turn down. Okay. So that's why I was short on this one. I went short here because price pokes up here, makes a new high, doji, and then a slightly bearish bar right here. And so at this point in time, I'm thinking that at the very least, we're going to retest this bottom here. And this is really about 2 o'clock. By the time 2 o'clock is right here, so this is after 2. One thing, we're coming into the close at 2:30, and I'm thinking like either price is going to continue to go up and retest this high, or price is going to turn back down. And considering that for 2 hours we were trading within a very tight range at the bottom, and just the last 45 minutes, an hour, let's say, we were trading above this area. The likelihood, I felt that it was likely we would turn over and head back in the other direction, or at least maybe retest, at least for the 15 ticks. I mean, I don't know it's going to go all the way down to here, but I thought it was reasonable to get 15 ticks out of it. And as a result, what happened is that not only did it get turned over and pulled back, but it really collapsed after that. And this whole movement, from here to here, didn't take very long. In fact, I mean, for the first part, once it picked up momentum, this took 6 minutes to get to this area, and to get all the way to the bottom. Let me just see if I can get this in here. This was 11 minutes. 11 minutes to move 51 ticks from here down to this bottom. And it really started, at about, let me just get this. This short started, it started firming up. This is 10 minutes after 2 right here. So from when it started to move down, this was 14:16. So just before, this is that 51 tick move happened within the last 15 minutes of trading. And so, again, I didn't know it was going to move that far. I mean, I was thinking that it would maybe retest the bottom of this channel here for the 15 ticks, but it continued to go down. And then, of course, you think that maybe it's going to stop here. But then where did it retest? Where did it wind up? It wound up retesting the low, and you can see this. And this is this is 2:30 right here, and of course it's found some support now, but right back where this area is. So that's kind of the anatomy of this thing. I mean, again, why would I have gotten short there? I got short because this move down here to this area was a pretty rapid move. Is an indication that we had some players or some sellers come into the market in a very short period of time. The buyers were down here trying to take it higher. The sellers were still bearish on this. This move here didn't take very long, so it was maybe 1 or 2 or 3 players, who knows, that took it up to this area, and you can see that buyers didn't want to take it any higher. And after an extended period of time, the only other choice is that they're going to give it up. And once price got down to here, if there was buyers going long in this area, it really collapsed. So you can see that there are buyers that were trapped. That's what this move is here. This is trapped buyers, and that's why it kind of unwound to this degree. So just happened to be on the right side of that trade. I mean, it's not like something, it's not, you're not going to be right every single time. But certainly, the other thing is that when you look at this area when price opened, it didn't stay up here very long, and the movement was down immediately. We had, again, and so this is from, the move started roughly about 9:30. So from 9:30, this is 9:30 right here, price sold off until it got down to 52, let's give a call at 52.50, and really stayed there for a couple hours. Came back up and then turned over and headed back down again. And now we have support near this area where it's been residing for most of today. And that's pretty much it. So hope you had a good day. I didn't broadcast yesterday, obviously, because of the holiday, but hope that you had a good day today. Some pretty decent movement. I mean, but you had to be short. I mean, that was the thing today. You had to be short as opposed to long, and that's where you would have really benefited, particularly if you caught one of these moves. This is a really great move to be on. I was fortunate with that one. This one you could see too. I mean, that was, and then selling off through this area. I mean, you had to be very careful with your entries, like always. But if you would have gotten on the right side, you'd been fine. So anyway, that's it for now. If you have any questions, please let me know. This is Vance. Bye for now.